Donald Trump's completely incompetent White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt suffered another one of these humiliating meltdowns. She was asked about the new controversy that Donald Trump has started in claiming that Joe Biden's pardons are void because Biden supposedly used an auto pen to sign the pardons. By the way, something Trump also does. She was asked about it, and here is how Caroline Levitt responded. And reporters having to explain to her that it is up to her to be able to answer these questions, not for them to do her work for her. Listen to this.
If the president was even consulted about his legally binding signature being signed onto documents. And so I think it's a question that everybody in this room should be looking into, because certainly that would propose perhaps criminal or illegal behavior if staff members were signing the president of the United States autograph without his consent.
Biden is on the record talking about issuing preemptive pardons to these people.
But was he aware of his signature being used on every single pardon?
Boom. That's the moment Levitt gets cornered. The question is straightforward. Did Biden personally approve these pardons? Or is this another MAGA conspiracy theory? But Levitt, instead of giving a shred of evidence, turns around and tells the reporters to go find out themselves. That's your job, Caroline. If you don't have proof, why are you standing there acting like you do?
That's a question you should ask the Biden White House.
Is there any evidence on that he wasn't aware of it?
You're a reporter. You should find out. Okay. Sean.
I'm without speech. Caroline Levitt, when asked, do you have any evidence for the things you've asserted, goes, you're a reporter, you find out. It is Caroline Levitt's job as the press secretary to make sure what she's saying is true, and to turn it around and say, maybe what I said is true, maybe it isn't. You find out, Caitlin, you're the reporter. This is part of the total disrespect and debasement that we are seeing here in terms of the relationship with media. Are you lying to us, Caroline? Can you tell us any evidence you have for what you're saying? You're a reporter. You find out. Absolutely terrifying. Now, later during the same press briefing, Caroline Levitt, apparently in one of these Freudian slips, said the following. Take a listen.
We want to restore the Department of Justice to an institution that focuses on fighting law and order.
Did you catch that? We want the Department of Justice.
We want to restore the Department of Justice to an institution that focuses on fighting law and order. Did you catch that? She just said the DOJ should be fighting law and order. Not protecting it, not enforcing it, fighting it. And honestly, that's exactly what the Trump administration wants. They don't want accountability. They want chaos. Freudian slip? Maybe. The truth? Absolutely.
To fight law and order, not to fight for it, just to fight it. Did you miss that one? Listen again.
We want to restore the Department of Justice to an institution that focuses on fighting law and order and crime and putting real criminals behind bars, not targeting Americans because of their religion or their political speech. We saw that under the previous administration, and it's unacceptable to this president.
Well, they've achieved that. If the goal was to turn the Department of Justice into an entity that fights law and order, they have certainly done it by weaponizing it in the very way they said Joe Biden was weaponizing it. Consider that. A reporter brought up reports about the Trump administration considering withdrawal from the International Center for the Prosecution of Crime of Aggression against Ukraine, basically saying Trump wants to let Russia get away with it. And Caroline Levitt goes, there have been many reports floating around.
Thanks. There have been some media reports just in the last few hours that the administration has decided to withdraw from the International Center for the Prosecution of the Crime of Aggression against Ukraine, which is designed to hold Putin accountable for war crimes. Are you able to confirm that? And if that has occurred, why has that occurred?
I'm not able to confirm it because I have not heard that. I will caution, I know there have been many.
Yes. Classic authoritarian handbook move number 1. Attack the press. When the facts don't support your nonsense, just discredit the reporters. Reuters and AP have been some of the most consistent fact-based sources for decades, but Levitt wants you to think they're lying without providing a single shred of counter-evidence. This isn't a press secretary. This is a propaganda machine.
Inaccurate and misleading reports from Reuters lately, so I would caution anybody taking that seriously, but I can check in and get.
One of the tools of the authoritarian playbook, one of the chapters out of the authoritarian playbook, is you sow doubt on absolutely everything. Can we trust what you're saying, Caroline? She says to Caitlin Collins, you're a reporter, go figure it out. Can we trust these reports from historically reliable reporting outlets, Reuters and Associated Press? I don't know anything about it, but I would be very skeptical about accepting anything reported by them.
And there it is. Levitt is completely out of her depth. Even the previous Trump mouthpieces at least knew how to lie effectively. Kayleigh McEnany, a professional liar, but at least she was prepared. Levitt, she's got nothing. Every time she's pushed, she either attacks the press, dodges the question, or fumbles her own words. This isn't just incompetence. It's an active strategy to keep the media in the dark while pushing Trump's agenda unchecked. And guess what? She took this circus to Fox News next. Let's see how that disaster went.
A press secretary who claims just not really to know anything other than a handful of talking points. She's not prepared for briefings. Her reflex is always to either attack the person asking the question or attack the source of the report. You know, Kayleigh McEnany, she lied a lot. Big liar. But she was prepared. You know, we would joke about her stacked binders with the tabs and the whole thing. She was organized in her apologia for Donald Trump. Caroline Levitt is a completely different sort of disaster. And this is what it would be great to say, we've got to get her out of there and figure out. This is what it is. This is what the press is dealing with. And the press is simply going to have to go around her rather than working with her to try to figure out what the hell this administration is up to. And as if this press briefing wasn't bad enough, she appeared on Fox News last night. Let's talk about that.